Vermilion Vanguard. Could you give us a short explanation of what the Vanguard is all about and what you guys do?
The Vanguard is a family. It started with me becoming the Noel mod. Before that, when TSK was mod, and I'm sure he did a good job, but when I joined, he was garbage. The Noel forums were just a mess. It was just full of trolls. Like, the only people who had anything good to say were just belittled by those trolls. It was like, how dare you try to make our experiences better with this piece of character? You're a faggot, and go die. And the matchups were condensed. Both CT and CS1 matchup threads were in the same, and it was all terrible. So randomly, I was asked to be mod, and I was surprised because the guy who gave my recommendation I'd only talked to once, and it was like a passing glance kind of thing. But I was made mod, and it was off to a slow start. You know, I knew everything that I wanted to do, but no one was into it because they were used to the old ways. They were like afraid to post essentially. So I made the general forums, and it would get maybe 3 posts a day at most. But then I noticed one post was made one day when they got off topic one time and didn't talk about Noel, they were talking about whatever. Within that same post that guy made, he was like, anyways, back on topic, Noel, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, hold the up. This is a general forum. Talk about whatever the you want. That's what general means. It's not, what are you doing? So eventually, like after that, literally right after that post, we started getting, 1,000 posts every week. And eventually, we had our own Skype group, NVG Skype chat, and we all just kind of, started to like each other. It's, how some boards, they'll have people that hate each other or maybe don't get along, and then we just have people that are, good with everyone. Everyone's cool with each other in the Vanguard. So it became like, I was kind of like the leader, but everyone else was like my generals. And we were all just cool with each other. Like, even if you sucked, I'll still, give you positive reinforcement. Even if you were good, I'd still knock you down a peg and let you know that you still had to improve on. And they respected that. They didn't just lash back at me like other people might. They were like, oh yeah, like they respected me as a moderator and as a player. And, I like that. They all like me. I like all of them. And we just, like I said, we became a big family. We all work on, we play each other, give each other criticism, and all that stuff. And honestly, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be playing this game right now.
So, all right, cool. All right, let's see here. If there were any other current non-playable BlazBlue characters, would you add to the cast? Who would you choose and why?
There are 2 that come to mind immediately. The first is the most obvious choice that I believe will be in the game at one point or another, that being Kokonoe. And I think she just needs to be in the game because, for one, it's another character to play. For 2, it's another flat-chested character to play. For 3, it'd be fun to see what they do with her character. I'm thinking maybe she'll be like a Spencer Bionic Arm kind of chick. Another character that might never make it into the game is Linhua, Lychee's little assistant thing. I picture her kind of playing out like, BlazBlue's Jam, maybe, because she could, she's probably Asian, so she could be a martial artist for unexplained reasons like Lychee. They love doing that. Also, obviously, third character, Jubei, kind of needs to make it in the game, or else Red will get very upset. Honestly, I wouldn't like him being in the game because I could just imagine him being a really, really annoying matchup for Noel. But again, it's another character. I'd like to see everybody in this game.
All right. What are your what do you like or dislike about the move BlazBlue Continuous Shift 2 Plus?
Oh, Plus. Okay.
Yes.
Well, honestly, I don't think there's anything I like going into CS2 Plus. I mean, I know they're trying to get rid of loops, which is cool because I don't like watching the same over and over again. And I, for one, am also a huge, I guess you could say, protester of the hide loop. I only do it if I want to annoy the shit out of my opponent. I know they're trying to drastically change around everything, but I guess as long as they make it more balanced, I'm cool with it. It's really putting me off seeing what they're doing to certain characters.
Alright, we're going to go ahead and go on to something else, like a little bit of alternative questions. Let's see here. Alright, outside of fighting games, what other genre of games do you play?
I play RPGs. Big fan of the Final Fantasy series. Tales of Vesperia, I think, is one of the greatest RPGs ever made. And I kind of like adventure games, not really too big into them. And action games are alright. Ninja Gaiden is really the only one that I'll actually bother to pick up on most any given situations. Another kind of genre of game that I enjoy playing, another kind of one-player game I enjoy playing is Marvel 3. Because seriously, that's not a fighting game. Not in my opinion. No, I'm kidding. I just prefer to play that by myself. Like I said, combos. I enjoy those. That's it. I can't play that game. I'm terrible at assist games.
Alright. You mentioned RPGs. If you could name your top 3 that you played, what would they be?
Top 3 RPGs. I'd say Final Fantasy VII's got to be at the top because it was my gateway RPG. And, a lot of people can say that. People don't like it. Some people love it. Some people love it too much. But that was what got me into the genre, so I got to place that on a high tier. Tales of Vesperia got me playing RPGs again back when I thought they were just dead to me. So I got to give that props because I loved the shit out of that game. It was the first game in a long time that had me playing it from waking to sleep. And, I would wake up early before work just to play it and then catch the bus, even though I stayed up till 5 in the morning playing it. And then I'd say the third one, I gotta give it I gotta give it to Pokemon because no matter how old you are, if you were born in the time Pokemon was cool and you played it, it's got a special place for it. And as long as you can just play it for enjoyment, that's cool. I know there's a competitive scene for it, but I can't get into that. It's way too much to think about.
Shit, alright. Let's see here. We heard that you recently got back from Chicago Heart. Could you share your experiences with us? Let's see. Was this your first tourney outside of Michigan?
Yep. It was my first real tourney too. I don't really consider the Michigan tourneys real because when I went to them, it was CS1.
Oh, you hear that, Leo? Michigan tourneys.
It was CS1. We were ruled by Leo, and I was not the hero that Michigan wanted at that time. So when I went to Chicago Heart, it was kind of a growing experience in my opinion because it put things a little bit in perspective. It let me know that I could have good batches, and it also let me know that I had a lot that I needed to work on, not just in gameplay, but also when I fought hard in finals. If you would have seen that, and you wouldn't have known it was me, you would have thought it was just some random scrub. I dropped everything. It was like I had turny nerves, and also kind of oh my god, it's Hart now. He's sitting right there. I remember talking to him when I was still like a scrub, and now I'm playing like one. So it's I gotta get used to that pressure going into that, and it was fun. It was a reflective experience for me, honestly.
All right, cool. All right, really like the answers from that. All right, here's a good one. If you could play anybody in an offline setting, even if you've played them or never played them at all, could you give me 5 people you were interested in playing, U.S. or international?
Well, I'd have to immediately go with Omniscythe for one, because Makoto, it feels like every time I fight him, the matches would go so much different if either of us could block correctly. Because we got a decent connection, but just sometimes it's you don't want to have to deal with Orboki when you're sitting on net play. And you're like, man, I could have insta-blocked that, maybe drove through this, but no, instead, I got hit with 2A into all of my health, or the rest of my health. So he's probably at number 1, and I think my number 2 would probably have to go to Hexanoid, because he's pretty much one of my right-hand Noel users, and I'd love to get a match in with him without the Euro lag, as we like to call it. Also, I'd love to play offline with Sky King. He's another Noel. He's also really good, but he lives in Texas, so we got a one bar with each other. Also, I really... Most of my list is starting to look like Noel's right now. Yeah, I think my other two would have to be Nano. It's just Nano because again he lives in Cali, so it's like I'd love to be able to counter the that he gets away with in our connection. So props to him for trying. And fifth,
oh god, that would have been something to see. Get it?
Oh yeah, of course, DS Move. Because I feel like I have a lot to say to him. And I would love to just play him offline and tell him as we're going things that you can do, things that you shouldn't do, especially in the mirror matchup. And looking at my top 5, like most players would be like, oh, I want to fight these challenges and stuff, but I mean, I like a good challenge, but I can get that wherever I go. When it comes to offline, I'd love to gather around a bunch of friends that I'd like to know in person and fight all of them. So that's why my top 5 is just all people I consider online friends.
All right. Very commendable answer. I like it a lot. All right, we're towards the end of the interview here. There any last words, shout-outs, or anything like that you want to go ahead and put out there?
Shout-outs to you for doing this. Shout-outs to Dustloop for making a scrub like me mod. Shout-outs to LK for giving me these glasses, because it helps me a lot if you can't see what my eyes are doing. Shout-outs to the Michigan scene, because thanks to them, it gave me what I call the mod power-up, because when I became mod, that's when I started to get more serious with offline, started blocking more often, and that was amazing. So it felt like I got a power-up after I got that mod shit. It was like, I went from here to here. Shout-outs to Axis for constantly reminding me that I'll never be able to beat Tagger, or his Tagger, with Noel. Shout-outs to Leo for literally having my favorite matches ever with him at Chicago Heart.
Yes, thank you, Shark.
Like, they were literally the most fun I've ever had fighting around. And I hate fighting around, to be honest. Shout-outs to Heart now for doing Chicago Heart. And for being... more humble as far as completely bodying me and then, not rubbing it in my face or anything. Shout outs to MBG, because if it wasn't for them, I still wouldn't be having fun with this game.
I'm player soon.
There's a lot of people I'd love to get shout outs to. Shout outs to my family for being my family and birthing me. Because could you imagine passing me out of your vagina?
Really?
I couldn't.
Fucking really?
I couldn't.
I'll pay you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's shout-outs to me for hosting casuals all the time and being awesome. I guess I'll end with that.
Sure, I'm good with that. Sure. Oh, man. All right, well, that comes towards the end of our interview. Thank you very much for taking the time out to do the interview with me, sitting down with me, and actually answering a couple questions that we had for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this installment of Face-to-Face. It was a very informative interview with our guest LunaKage today. And before I close this out, I've been put up to quoting the Vermilion Creed. And since it was a request, I'm going to do it. No matter what tier, no matter how bad the matchups are, no matter how good or bad we have it, there will be hate. But we persevere. We don on the blue beret, pick up Nox Nictoris Arctus Diabolus Pulverk, and put our guns on. For if there's an assault to go through, a spring to be raided, or a bloom to be triggered, we will be there. We are the Noel Mains, the bane of everyone's existence. Cross-ups, we got those.